Oh, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 7 different Grayscale trusts today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We're talking about BCHG, LTCN, ZCSH, HZen, Mana, GXLM, and G-Link itself. Let's get into it, guys. Let's waste no time at all. I want to be as quick and brief in this as possible, right? Maybe spend a little bit more time talking about some of the bigger ones like BCHG and LTCN, but 5:25 now. We had no day yesterday to start the new year off. I didn't know that the first was a holiday. I mean, I know it's a holiday, but I didn't know it was a holiday that the stock market turned off for. I was a little bit surprised, but whatever, that's okay. Tomorrow will be a Thursday, the 2nd that it opens up, so we'll have Thursday and Friday to resolve this week, two days' time. I did the math. I was looking at it earlier. Bitcoin Cash is at 456. By the time that BCHG closed on on Tuesday, Bitcoin Cash was at prices below 440, right? So the amount that it's up right now, and it's not 13%. Sorry that I have that there. From where you closed on Tuesday, you're up about 5%. So I think it's safe to assume that BCHG probably sees something, I would think, greater than a 5% move up. Like probably, I genuinely think tomorrow, you're at 525 now. I bet you see prices above 580 tomorrow. I think that you will see a 10% or more pump just because of the move you're having up with BCH now. I think BCH, looking at the 1 hour time frame, it could come down a little bit, but just a little bit. And then really throughout the day, looking at the 4 hour, looking at the 1 hour, they look very bullish. So I suspect BCH is on its way up. That makes me think that BCHG, both in culmination with the fact that it's up, BCH is up from BCHG's close on Tuesday, and with the fact that I suspect BCH is at 455, 456 now. By the time the stock market opens, I suspect that BCH will be at higher prices than it even is now. That would lead me to believe that we will see BCHG probably above these lows. And with a move like that, especially with how scary this move down was, which had no volume at all. You haven't experienced above average volume, you guys, since December 10th, right? Since here. This whole move down happened with below average. This was a coordinated effort along with sprinkled with panic sellers, right? And I only say sprinkled with, not riddled with, because all the panic sellers already panic sold, right? This is your last call delusion panic sellers, right? That they just couldn't hold out for one more month, right? It's just too much to bear. I don't want BCHG at $20 and more. I can't wait another month for that, right? I'm just going to get out now and put it in something that's already pumped and then catch the next wave down, right? That's what this selling area was for, right? If you're one of those people and you sold in this area and you're hearing this message now, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but damn it, man, you should not get it. This is a bad area to sell. It's about to rip. It's about to fly. At least I think it is. And I do suspect that a move up, again, a move up from here would likely not just stop at like 580. I think that you would eat up a lot of this move down because it just happened with very insignificant volume. And I think with a significant move in BCH, especially something that breaks out of its relative consolidation phase, come on now, relative consolidation phase here, a move up that would take you above like 470, 480, something like that, right? That would likely put a fire under BCHG's butt as well, and you would not only get a significant move up, but some significant volume to back it as well. I'm expecting, cutting to the chase here, from a high to a low, I suspect that you will see a move that takes you up to about 1380 to 1820. Sometime, I would say by the end of the month, but I would suspect that you see more growth than that, right? Because I'm expecting overall $1,300 from BCH's current price. That's 188%. If BCHG were to track BCH 190%, right? Because that doesn't include the 5% that it's already pumped. 190% would put it at about 1524. And I would think BCHG outperforms BCH. So maybe something above $20, I think, is on your way for the end of January, BCHG. Something above $20, you really could. It's completely possible, man, that you could break $30 or more by the end of January as well. But something above 20, I would say 18 or higher is really what I feel the most comfortable saying. I think you're in the midst of that move now. So, we've gotten that out of the way. That's all I want to say. You got 525, something above 1822, likely above $20 by the end of the month. That's what I think you're going to do. I think you found your low. If you haven't found your low, you're very, very near it. But don't be surprised if tomorrow in like 8 hours we open up to the green side. I think that we will. Yeah, that's BCHG. Let's look at it real quick on the ribbon here. BCHG. monthly ribbon. That is a disgusting look. If I didn't know anything about BCH or BCHG at all, and this is my first time looking at this chart, I would say get out. You're going to zero. You're going to new all-time lows. That's what this chart would look like to me. Also, though, it's the very beginning of January, right? So this chart has a lot of time. Oh, it's December. Did it not? Oh, right, because the chart ended in December. The week started. We're already in the middle of the week, but this whole New Year thing is throwing me off. Okay, never mind. So we did close the month down here. It does look pretty bad on a monthly basis. Just final note there. Weekly basis also looks like trash. It looks like complete and total garbage. You would need a miracle, and generally whenever you get a cross like this, you do get a touch and then you reject down. So when I say a miracle, I don't mean to move. You're at 525. I don't mean to move all the way up to $7.22, which you probably could achieve by the end of this month. You could, not by the end of this month, by the end of this week, over the next 2 days. If not sometime next week, you'd probably be up at this area because it's very common to touch crosses when they happen. But you would need a miracle to make this thing turn bullish, right? You need something that closes at like $8 or more on a weekly basis this week, like in the next 2 days, or by the end of next week at the least, right? At the most. Not a good look. 3-day looks sad. And the daily, not really a lot to go off of. It's pretty disrespected, so nothing really to consider. Well, the BCHG ribbon sucks. It's really bad. But the only thing that's not making me concerned about this is it's one of Grayscale's larger trusts. The underlying asset itself looks to be on a path to something a lot more glorious. If we go all the way back here, it's on this actually looks really good. So if this thing looks good, I can't be bearish on this thing. It's not in my nature, I suppose. I don't know. LTCN. We spent a lot of time with BCHG. Let's talk about LTCN. LTCN seeing a relatively lower low as well. Down at the very bottom of this oversold zone, or at the very, I suppose, the top of the oversold zone down at this area, an area that you found support on before. You actually found that was this low down here that you found support on. You went on a nice like higher high there. If you were to see a nice higher high in relevance to this, you would see something above $23 likely. You move down just like Bitcoin Cash without the presence of volume at all on this whole move down. The last 2 days really going for a push. You saw a little bit of volume on Monday, right? And that was in the form of an up move. It looks like eating up that downside. So I do suspect that you will probably continue moving up from here. I think that was your low. If that isn't your low, you could go a little bit lower. Maybe you go down to about $11.88. Maybe you go down to about $10, something in that range. It's very possible. But if we look at the underlying asset, we look at LTC. First off, I want to say the 4-hour looks very bullish, very poised right now to break above this line. You probably break above it and then you pull back, consolidate, and then you break up higher, right? Something like that. Daily RSI looks very bullish as well. It looks like you're turning the tide right now. Very, very bullish. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks super good. What you would need to do to make it continue to look good and not look bad and not make it look like you're going to get a lower low than this is keep getting green days until you close the day above here. If you want to pull back, cool. Get a green day to take you up here and then pull back a little bit and then move up, right? But keep going. You're at $105.6 right now. Keep going to about 110. Close above 110. Make me happy. You do that, LTCN is going to be happy too. And likely see a good retracement off of this overall move from a high to a low. I do suspect that Litecoin here, if and when it breaks above $110, it'll continue on its mission to its 61869 area at $170 to $201 and potentially even reach its 786 to 886 area at 251 to 317. December did not go at all how we were expecting it to go, right? So don't expect January to go how we were expecting it to go in December either, right? I know that by the end of January, these were the targets to have, and I think that they are still suitable targets to have for LTCN. Or for LTC, I'm sorry. But it is completely possible that we stop at 170 to 200, right, by the end of January. Maybe in February, these are the targets we see. I am a little bit surprised that we didn't continue up higher, but this month of December just seems like a big fake out. You look at it for what it is here on this monthly chart, it seems like a big fake out. Weekly chart, it's a little bit less of a fake out look, but still somewhat of that look as well. As long as we can find support and build out of here, especially if we can close above the 618, I think it's fine. But I'd like to see that happen this month. Okay, so the real minimum goal would be to close. You're at $105 now. It would be to close above 170 by the end of the month. But I suspect that that's like your minimum, right? I really do think that LTC will see prices at 250 or higher by the end of January, but that's a little bit less clear now than it was in the beginning of December when there was so much more hope when we were at the ass end of this move here. But if we were to move up, at a minimum 60%, I would suspect LTCN does the same, if not more. I would think LTCN by the end of January very likely does see $27 or higher. I think so. That's my expectation. Sorry, my cat keeps me on, guys. 786 here. If you were to see 136%, which I very much do think LTC could see, 136% for LTCN. I mean, that could put LTCN above $40, man. It really could. Yeah, or more. It could be at new cycle highs, not new all-time highs, but new cycle highs. I don't know if you see anything too much above 54 by the end of January. That might be for February or March targets. But I think by the end of January, something above $27, something below $45, I think could be expected for LTCN. And I think it starts now. I do think that it starts now. I think you found your low. Daily RSI looks to be in an area that you find support at. 3-hour RSI showing a little bit, no bullish divergence, to be fair. But you are at this point where it almost looks like, right, you've got this downtrend and it looks like you want to turn it around, right? Like it's even kind of, if I draw it on the tops here, that was not good. Try to connect the tops, right? You can see it's like sloping. It's like it's got this like curve to it, right? Like it wants to turn around. You're about to break out of this 3-hour downtrend either way, and that would likely start something, if not today, tomorrow, like by the end of this week, it would likely start something. So next week, by the end of this week, I suspect you have a bounce. You're at 1279 now. I suspect that you're probably above, if not at least above $14, 1550 or more. You're probably above that over the next 2 days. But next week, I think, is going to be the good week. Next week and going into the week afterwards, I think will provide a lot of growth, stuff that will take you above $30 probably. So, and then by the end of the month, we'll probably be anywhere from $30 to $44, somewhere in that range, and then we'll go from there. All right, so that's LTCN. Let's talk about ZCSH. I'm going to try to move through these a little bit, okay, and just look at this so much. Looking at the daily RSI, looks actually pretty bullish. I like the trajectory that you're at right there. Weekly RSI, looking good. Finding support at previous areas of resistance. I mean, this would be good. This looks pretty good, actually. High to low, 786 down to your 382. Happens. Next move up, $14. 575 now. Oh, that makes sense. 114, $14. Enough said. No. Let's see. I mean, yeah, man, you look like you're on your way. 90% to 140% move for Zcash. Yeah, man. Zcash by the end of the month, you guys, is going to be worth like $14 or higher. 14 to $22. That's my thoughts for Zcash. Looking frisky. Daily RSI looks real good. 3-hour RSI is looking a little bit better than LTCN's is. Oh man, I have to sneeze. Hold on. Ooh. I want to sneeze. It just, I can't. I don't know why. I don't know why, man. Bouncing off the 40, an area that you held as support time and time again, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Looking good. What's this? Hold on. Come on. I mean, if you notice this, I don't know how much it is to go off of, but if you look at the 3-hour, you found support up this 40 area time and time again. The only time that you didn't, you were down here oversold, right? And the only time you didn't was over here oversold. These 2 times here, if you notice, both of those, that was a pretty significant low as far as this bounce goes. This low here was your first higher low, which set off a chain reaction of higher lows and higher highs that built you all the way up to here. You just had that low there, right? Significant low. The last time that you were oversold on your 3-hour, both provided very significant lows. So I think that was it. I don't think Zcash goes lower. ZCSH, I think it's moving up. Weekly RSI looks good. Yeah, man. $14 or higher, $14 to $22 by the end of the month. I genuinely, if not more, man, if not more. These are just kind of minimum expectations. You never know with these Grayscale trusts what they're capable of, especially because the underlying assets themselves, can go ballistic. If they go ballistic, these things are going to go ballistic, right? So just be aware of that. But yeah, definitely good things to come. I like this overall look with Zcash, ZCSH having this nice kind of rounded bottom on top of the 123 weekly moving average of the green line there. I think this looks really good. So, and volume building out as you're breaking out of this trend, volume coming in as you're breaking out. I love it, right? Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. I think that you are going to move higher, high to low. Yeah, man, truthfully, I really do think you could be around $20 by the end of this month. If not there, like I keep saying 14, but I genuinely think you'll be about 15, maybe even like 1560 by the end of the month. ZCSH looking frisky, man. HZen, Horizen, it looks the same, doesn't it? Don't they? They look very similar. The HZen chart looks better. HZen chart looks way better. I like the weekly RSI too. High to low here. 492. Maybe go down to 474, but you don't have to. I don't think it does, man, because I don't think Zen goes lower. Yeah, Zen looks like it wants to go up higher. So, I mean, if you want to go lower, you go to like 474. You could. I think you're in the midst of a move up, though. You broke out of this, so really you're probably going to $16 to $27. You're at $5 now about. By the end of the month, I think you'll be at 16, much higher than that. Hard to say, but at least around 16, I would think, for HZen. Yeah, very, very bullish. This one's a little bit easier. It's in a cup and handle pattern, right? It's very obvious that that's a cup and handle. If this is a cup and handle, and I think it is, this is how you'd measure it. If I can. Okay. So you take the base of the cup to the top of the right, and you put it all the way up here. Your measure move effectively would be $20. Didn't we say $20? $20. And put it back on log. $20 just happens to be from a high to low where your 1414 is, right? I was saying that I would expect that you're above $16, right? That's the minimum target. But $20 right there, man, that's your measure move. I like that. And if not by the end of January, maybe by sometime in February. But HZen looking good. Mana's looking fresh, you guys. Looking really good, actually, I think. You can definitely tell, right? Like if you look at the chart here, not a lot of volume. Versus here, just look at how less these little gaps and weird spaces and weird price action looks are, and just look at how much more the volume is, right? So there's definitely interest right now. I like it. It looks good. There's been no interest at all on this move down. A lot of interest down here, right? And you're finding support now at your base where the previous areas of resistance were. So I think that you're looking constructive. Relative high to low. Went all the way up to the golden ratio, pulled back. Not really a normal area to pull back to, but on the price, I like it. Four-hour looks bullish. Daily looks set up to be bullish. If we can just move up. If we move down from here, that could be bad. We're kind of waiting, right? Crypto's in this kind of critical moment where, like, I think it looks bullish. I think yesterday's close was definitely a bullish sign. But if today were to reverse harder, if we had a bearish, like if today closed below 46 cents for mana, man, everything I'm about to say is going to be wrong. But let's assume that that we're not going to move down to that. I'm going to be right in saying that we're moving up. I think Mana's going to move up to 65 cents or higher. Yeah, 50 cents now, so 65 cents or higher probably, if not by the end of this week, sometime early next week. We start that move now. And where would I think Mana is by the end of the month? $1, anywhere from $1 to 110%. It's maybe 230 to maybe 330, 110. 110 at the minimum. So the 618 at the minimum. So by the end of the month, you got 12 bucks. I could see you going to 26 bucks. Yeah. Likely higher though. And if you start that, right, you start to move like this, you're on your path, truthfully, higher, all the way up to like 139, right? So look for that. You're at 12 bucks, man. I think that this low that you had back in August, right, that's a very significant low. That was your like last macro low before seeing prices above $100 is what my thoughts what my thoughts are. The 1886 lines up very well with the 1414. They literally are perfect together. And if we take away this fib, you got pretty close to your 1618. Oftentimes you didn't hit it. The technical next target would be the 1618, but oftentimes with this kind of established high so close to the 1618, I would normally look to the next fib, which is the 1886. All the way up at $194, which lines up pretty well with that $200 area. I'm just saying, man, I think that breaking above 26 bucks, which based off of the underlying asset, right, the minimum kind of expected target by the end of January is to be above $1, which is at about 108%. If Mana, the Grayscale Trust, were to track that 108% and just a little bit overdo it, just a little bit, instead of 108%, maybe you do 118%, then that would get you above the 618 here. If you get above that 618 on this relative fib here from a high to a low, I'll delete this one so you can see it better. From a high to a low, if you get above that golden ratio, that green lights you for these targets here, right? The minimum target's at $140. The next target there would be at 200, and that next target, that 200 target, is at this 1886 here, which is at about 194, which also again would be, in my opinion, your more likely next target based off of this overall fib here, because again, where you topped off was just below your 1618. Now it's possible you can stop at the 1618 and then find resistance and then come back for a later time. But with how close, the fact that you got like this close to the 1618, I wouldn't think that you spent all this time consolidating just to make a slightly higher high. I would think that you go all the way up to, let's go up to the 1886. So, I don't know. 140 is the minimum target, 200 is the next target, and that's not end of cycle stuff. This is not end of January stuff. This is just kind of end of this move stuff, which might be like April, May. But all that starts with a monthly close above $26, $26.32. Which I very much do believe this trust can achieve by the end of this month. GXLM, and just because you get that doesn't mean it happens tomorrow, but right, it's like the end of January, you close up above this. That doesn't mean that you're getting up here tomorrow. It just more or less means that now we can think about these prices, right? Right now we're thinking about 26 bucks to 40 bucks. Okay, we break above 26 bucks, then we can start thinking about those prices. That's how exciting that is, right? GXLM. I'll do a more in-depth video on XLM here in a second, okay? Low to high, down to your 382, 33 bucks, 24 cents. XLM had a very massive move, right? A very, very massive move yesterday. Moved up 28% with decent volume too, 28%. That's a nice look, right? We got the higher highs in the RSI, higher highs in the price as well. And you're breaking out with decent volume. It's not average volume, but it is more volume than you've seen since the beginning of the month, right? So that's decent volume. Moved up how much? 28%. GXLM probably has a hell of a day tomorrow, right? Like, yeah, 37 bucks now. You're probably going to be above 50 bucks. You won't be able to buy it here, right? It's just going to gap straight up there. You're going to get a gap like this, right? But whatever it gaps to, if it gaps to 42 bucks, buy it. If it gaps to 45 bucks, buy it. It's going to go to 50 bucks or higher, right? Not financial advice, do what you want, but it's going to go to 50 bucks or higher here tomorrow, man. And really you're on the path to extensions off of this move here. 886, 618 support, and then back up. You get above 56.60. It's on to $109 to $197. You're at $37 now. Truthfully, I think that your minimum target, even though it is 109, I would actually shift it up to 140 to 197. Because what's about to happen with XLM, man? I think GXLM is going to get a huge whiff of that. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, dude, it might even be worth considering $311 by the end of January. don't count on it, just consider it, right? I don't count on this either, but maybe count on it a little bit more. Something around $200, $240. That's my expectation by the end of January. GXLM. And then, last but not least, G-Link. Weekly RSI looks great. 3-day, we don't really want the 3-day. Daily looks good as well, actually, on the RSI. I like the volume profile. Weekly RSI, back out to here. Yes, monthly. I like the monthly RSI. Okay, cool. Yeah. What is that? 886 rejection? 786, 886. Right in that zone. Kind of an obscure fib. I don't know if I like it. Let's use this here from a high to a low, maybe. There we go. That's a little bit better. Still obscure though. Still obscure. Huh. Do we have something that's less obscure? Look at that Adam and Eve, bro. That's a perfect Adam and Eve right there. It's beautiful. Anyways, the reaction afterwards was not so beautiful, but that's okay. Okay, this looks a little bit better. Something more to go off of. Okay. As long as you hold 63 bucks, you're at 84, and I think you will hold 63, but as long as you hold 63, 300 and higher is a shoo-in. Let's look at Link. What did it do today? Had a nice move, didn't you? 8%, looking like you want to break out higher. It's got this head and shoulders look to it, but it's not a head and shoulders at all, is it? It's actually a fake head and shoulders. In fact, did you guys know, for any Chainlink people out there, I'm going to hurt your feelings if you were counting on this to be a head and shoulders, right? It's actually a fairly decent looking head and shoulders, to be completely fair. It actually, with volume and all, it looks pretty perfect. But did you know, with head and shoulders patterns, right, if this is your neckline, if you break the neckline and you pull back into it, that invalidates the pattern, and now you have a very, it's like a 70% or more likelihood to see higher highs before you are to go lower. But to be fair, yes, you broke the neckline, but not really, kind of. But I don't know, if I was looking for this to break to the downside, if I was bearish, I wouldn't have gotten excited off of that, and I wouldn't be discouraged off of this either, right? It's still possible it could go down, but just so you know about head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders patterns, whenever you break them, back testing them hurts performance, but breaking back into it, that's not a good thing, right? That norm, or in this case, it would be a good thing, but just a little fun there for you. 8% up, probably 10% overall. G-Link probably going to get a nice bump. You're at 84.47. G-Link probably moves back up to 95 bucks tomorrow, man. 95 bucks. You might even be above 100 bucks tomorrow. Moving your way up to new all-time highs. You're at 84 bucks now. I would suspect by the end of this month, G-Link is at $300 or higher. Yeah. Perfect, bro. You're at 84.47. If you go lower at all, I doubt you go below 82 bucks. I doubt it. You're about to rip, bro. You are about to rip so hard, G-Link. I wonder how hard Chainlink's about to rip. 386. 386. Yeah. If not by the end of January, sometime in February. But it's happening, man. It's happening. What's Link looking like here real quick? Yeah, man. Link's about to do good too, huh? %. So maybe by the end of January, G-Link's around 250. Going into February, you'll be above 300. I'd like to say that, okay? If I'm wrong, then maybe Chainlink does more bullish things, or maybe G-Link sees a higher premium, but I doubt it. If Chainlink's at any prices higher than 40 bucks on a closing basis by the end of January, then likely G-Link would be closer to 300 instead of 250. But that's my call. So if you guys liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.